Rose.
Hi.
Welcome to our 5th episode of A Very Venture Vodcast.
Today we are going to be talking about Season 4, Episode 4 of Adventure Brothers called A Return to Malice.
Yep, so if you haven't seen said episode, you should not be watching this.
Because spoilers and such.
Nice try. So I think we first wanted to start talking about the episode. I kind of wanted to delve into a little bit that it was kind of my favorite episode so far because it was written by Doc Hammer and it was about the Monarch. So pretty much anytime that those two things intersect, it's like just heaven for me. So
it's a happy time.
And so in classic Doc Hammer style, like he says in the commentary for the DVD, if there's like an action scene that he's writing, it's like just a description, like a short paragraph. But if a character is talking about failure, it's like 10 pages. So literally...
My feelings.
Yeah, and feelings. So this entire episode was pretty much every character getting a chance to talk about their failures, which I loved. A lot.
Very kumbaya.
Yeah, so...
we also wanted to comment on how beautiful the show is looking. The animations have gotten so much better. Mm-hmm. If you go back to season 1 and you watch an episode and you watch this episode, in fact, I think we both noticed it at the same time.
Yeah. The
scene with the Chinese water torture, I was literally like, are we watching this in high def? Like, what is going on?
And there was like a fade in thing.
It was gorgeous.
And we've actually wanted to talk about that for a while, and we keep going, like, this episode is so gorgeous, like, can you believe it? And then we, like, forget to talk about it, but I don't know what they're doing, if their budget got, like, vastly expanded, but it's working for them.
Yeah,
so
keep up the good work, guys.
Well, I just want you to know that you were right.
I mean, naturally. But what am I right about?
You were right about the fact that 21 has held on to 24's skull and a super, super, super creepy way in talking to it, which is actually something we predicted in the podcast, like in, I think, the first episode.
And as creepy as it is, and I almost don't even want to take credit for this because it's the creepiest thing to be right about ever, but you're right, I was right.
Oh, God.
I totally predicted that.
We were watching it, and I just look at her, I'm like, I can't believe it. Are you kidding me? And the skull makes a little tiny Tinkerbell noise.
Twinkle, twinkle.
When it's talking to him.
Which it's not actually talking to him, but...
Well, that's to be seen. What about the creepy ending credit? Where something happens and we don't know who it is. Maybe you're going to get your wish. About bringing back what's-his-face. It's going to be really super creepy.
Anyways, this week's scene was a hand, not 21's hand, somebody else's hand, crossing off an item on his list of...
Eye for an eye.
His eye for an eye list, which, by the way, ends with happenstance.
Oh, yeah, his list of people to take revenge on for killing 24.
Right.
Although it was kind of a moot point because at that point he realized that he himself was responsible or some such.
Yeah, he came to that revelation in the treehouse.
I wanted to bring up something kind of cool that I did not come up with, but I read about it on the Mantis Eye Experiment website and during my lunch break. And eye for an eye, someone, I think Mr. Monday, talked about this in a post, but he was saying that the biblical verse about an eye for an eye, hand for a hand, that sort of thing,
tooth for a tooth,
tooth for a tooth, yeah, is Exodus. The chapter it's Exodus 21:24. 21 24. Oh, it was super creepy, but I loved it.
I wonder, I mean, that's one of those things that you're like, I wonder if they actually thought this out that far. I mean, I totally believe that they did.
They probably did.
You know, when you're like in English lit class and you're like, the author who wrote this never thought about this that much. This is one of those situations where I feel like they actually thought that out.
Because they do kind of care that much.
They do, just as we do.
So, we also noticed that the cocoon, excitingly, got like a lot bigger.
It expanded quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember from the previews, there was the bar club cocoon area, and
it was
that
like
actually,
one of the images that they leaked earlier.
Yeah, you're right. It was it was just a still panel from the animation that they gave us as a preview before the season started, And it was this room that looked like Club Monarch.
You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember that movie Ants?
Yes.
And it's like they have a club thing. It just reminds me, I guess, because the insect thing or whatever, and even looks like the inside of like a hive thing.
Oh, you're right.
Or whatever, ant hive, mound.
Hive mount
situation. So,
anthill.
Also, so I like to think of the new area as the Rompus room. In the...
Where he goes to the bar and orders a drink. And
Yeah.
they kick him out. And they're like...
Does he even order a drink? What does he order?
He ordered like a ginger ale or something. Oh, no, a
Fresca.
Fresca. He ordered a Fresca.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're closed for the night. It was like Commander 21 or someone.
2-Ton 21.
I know, that's his new nickname.
I love it.
2-Ton 21.
We also found out there's a holodeck, which I squealed like a schoolgirl. There might have been some clapping involved. But anyway, that's exciting. So apparently, like, 21 has everyone on a tight leash now.
Yeah, there was a lot of reference to how 21 was managing things much better than the Monarch usually does. And there's like this order and lots of camaraderie, and it seemed like everyone was sort of like really well organized for once in the Monarch's situation.
I know, and the Monarch's really digging it, but
also he's really annoyed because he's
because he thinks he's like usurping him. Like he thinks that it's really a plot to take over the cocoon.
Like with the password.
Right, with the password. That's like one of my favorite scenes ever. I'm pretty sure the Monarch pretty much ruled this episode.
I mean,
he had so many great moments, like with what are they called? The Moppets.
Oh my gosh. When he told the Moppets off, I was like, finally! Somebody say addressing the giant elephant in the room. The fact that nobody likes the effing Moppets.
I just wish he like stepped on them, but I loved it, and they like scattered, and
they were like,
he threatened one of them with raid. It was fabulous. And so and we kind of speaking of 21, like we get to see like we get some answers, like his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to him, what happened to him after 24 died, and why he was LARPing, and
he kind of gives you the whole story from like when 24 died to now, how he came to be, and what he's up to these days.
Yeah, but it seems like he is not really interested in taking over the Monarch's position, and
no, it's really all for 24.
It is, so I'm really interested to see what he's going to do next. Like, I just don't know.
Well, now that he realized that it's his fault that 24 died, I'm not sure. It kind of leaves the window wide open.
So here's what really surprised me. Like, really surprised me. The fact that Mrs. the Monarch actually cares how he feels. When did that happen? Like, I didn't even know that they knew who he was, but they actually care. Or she cares, and then the Monarch at the end, they have, like, a total moment in the treehouse.
I know.
That was so, like, touching, and I was like, OMG.
Well, and it's not only, like, I feel like she's kind of, obviously she plays, like, the mother role, even though she's, like, the least likely mother figure there. But, you know, she's, like, and when she was talking to the Monarch, she was like, duh, haven't you noticed that, like, his best friend, and he was like, who's 24 again?
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? And that's what I was expecting, and the fact that, oh my god, Mr. Mostly Mittens. Period.
He used to run after rubber bands.
And he'd always bring them back. I swear that's based on someone's real life experience. Either Jackson or Doc. That's totally something that was actually in their real life. Also, the Monarch is a cat person. I knew it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see him as a dog person.
No.
He's kind of whiny and also smart.
What are you talking about? And fabulous and amazing. You hurt me. You hurt me a lot. Sorry. For punishment, I'm going to make you talk about Sergeant Hatred.
Oh, gosh. So, also, we feel like they are setting this whole scene and sort of setting up a situation so that Sergeant Hatred and Billy the Quiz Boy are going to come together.
Well, yeah.
If you notice, he's been reading the books.
The Giant Boy Detective books,
yeah. And
he seems really hooked on them.
He's really interested. And also, he was doing things at the computer.
Oh, yeah.
He asked...
It was right after he borrowed the book, I think. And then
he had just borrowed the book, and then he was downstairs...
On the computer.
And then
he burst in on...
Dr. Venture. Yeah. And was like, they stole the boys! And he was like, I was down at the computer. And he was like, what were you doing at the computer? And he was like, oh, I was just... masturbating.
Frolicking. So...
Yes, that's what you call that.